Hello everyone, my name is Riley Robertson and I'm going to be doing a presentation about our two sets, Son House Death Letter Blues versus Desafinado, and Louis Armstrong's Hotter Than That versus Bill Monroe's Uncle Pen. So for the first set, that is all the characteristics specific to Son House Death Letter Blues are Son House, who was born on 1902 and he died in 1988. He was a blues artist whose influence can be seen all throughout the early 20th century. His song Death Letter Blues was composed in the 1930s in Mississippi, capturing the essence of the rural blues tradition that was in that area. And some societal context is this occurred during the Great Depression, which was around the 1930s. And it influenced the song a lot. It reflects the pain and the hardship of the time, particularly those themes of death, loss, and personal grief. Also, it also is influenced by the African American experience in the Jim Crow South. Some musical language that's specific to this piece is Death Letter Blues is built on a simple yet powerful repetitive guitar and vocal line. It uses a 12-bar blues structure, and this piece's primary feature is its raw emotive delivery and the slide guitar technique. Why its significance is Son House is known for his emotional vocal style and his slide guitar playing. His music added depth and style to the style of blues as a whole, influencing later artists like Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters. This piece captures an intensity and emotion that is interconnected with the blues tradition. So what I felt, or my interpretation of this piece, is its mournful tone throughout the song and evokes feelings of sadness and isolation and even the inevitability of death. It offers a glimpse into the life of a man who is deeply affected by personal loss and how he struggles to deal with it. So for our next section, I'm going to be comparing the two. So both pieces are products in their respective cultural contexts. So while Son House hails from the Mississippi Delta, João Gilberto emerged in Brazil in the 1950s, representing their respective genres. So, some societal context that is similar for the both is both pieces reflected both cultural and personal emotional landscapes. Death Letter Blues emphasizes the struggles of African Americans in the South during a time of widespread hate, while Desafinado captures the changing social landscape in Brazil after World War II. So, some musical language that is the same between the both songs is both songs use a minimalist yet emotional melody. Death Letter Blues has its repetitive guitar, and Desafinado with its guitar accompaniment and a subtle vocal delivery create a intimate atmosphere throughout the piece. Both works are landmarks in their respective genres. Death Letter Blues, and obviously blues, and Desafinado and bossa nova. They are both innovative in how they blend rhythm, melody, and lyrics to express personal and societal emotions that people can share through music. So my interpretation that connects both the pieces are they convey deep emotional complexity. Son House's Death Letter Blues through the pain and suffering he had to deal with during the Great Depression, and João Gilberto's Desafinado through the vulnerability of romanticism throughout his piece. Finally, I'm going to talk just about João Gilberto's Desafinado and why it's unique. So João Gilberto was born in 1931 and died in 2019, pretty recently. Created the song Desafinado, which was composed in 1959. This song represents the bossa nova movement in Brazil. Bossa nova is a fusion of samba rhythms with jazz influences, reflecting Brazil's evolving cultural identity. So some context, Desafinado is comes from a post World War II in Brazil. Brazil was starting to move towards modernism and urban sophistication. It was an era where Brazil was reimagining its cultural identity on the world stage with a new focus on smooth, refined music that contrasted with traditional samba. So some musical language that was unique to this piece is the song features syncopated rhythms and nuanced vocal phrasing. It's marked by the contrast between jazz influences and traditional Brazilian rhythms. João Gilberto's guitar playing is amazing in this piece, and it really brings the whole piece together. So, some musical significance: João Gilberto's bossa nova style was revolutionary for the way it integrated jazz harmonies into traditional Brazilian music, while also maintaining the rhythmic soul of samba. Desafinado is seen as a prime example of this new sound. Gilberto's vocal style was seen as innovative due to his intimacy and quietness when he sang, creating a different style altogether, which can't be seen from the more expressive and louder styles of samba. So my interpretation of this piece: Desafinado feels delicate but powerful at the same time, invoking a sense of sadness or longing. Its soft, understated performance contrasts with the direct emotional force of Sunhouse Death Letter Blues, but it still resonates on a deep emotional level. Now for our next set, it's Louis Armstrong, Hotter Than That, versus Bill Monroe's Uncle Pen. So the first, I'm going to talk specifically about Louis Armstrong's Hotter Than That. So Louis Armstrong was born in 1901 and died in 1971, who is also often considered the father of modern jazz. He recorded Hotter Than That in 1927 in Chicago. This piece is from the early days of jazz when the genre was still evolving. So some context: the time this song was created was known as the Roaring '20s in America. It was a time of plenty of economic prosperity and cultural revolution in America's history, and it's the time period that fostered and nurtured the rise of jazz. Armstrong's music reflects the energy and improvisational spirit of the area. Sorry about that. So some musical language: Hotter Than That is an upbeat, high-energy jazz piece with plenty of complex improvisation, syncopated rhythms, and a strong brass section. Armstrong's trumpet playing and scat singing are key features that showcase his skill and innovation that led to the creation of jazz as the genre that we know today. So some significance of this piece: Armstrong is credited with, because of this piece, Armstrong is credited with transforming jazz from a collective of ensembles and the focus being on their group to the focus being on the individual soloist. It is also a showcase of his amazing contributions to jazz improvisation, brass technique, and vocal performance that is seen all over the jazz genre these days. So my interpretation: it's a very lively, playful. It has a very lively and playful nature. It invokes a sense of joy and excitement in the listener, and invites the listener into a world of creative musical exploration. So next, I'll compare the two pieces. Both pieces represent their respective cultures and the evolution of music throughout the genre during the 20th century. While Armstrong Hotter Than That reflects the development of jazz in the U.S., Monroe's Uncle Pen represents the evolution of bluegrass music in the Appalachian region of the U.S. So some context: both pieces reflect the cultural landscape of their time. Armstrong's piece captures the jazz and swing movement that was so popular throughout all of the Roaring '20s. It is also a significant part of African American culture and expression. On the other hand, Monroe's song reflects the root of bluegrass music, which is developing in rural America and through Appalachian folk traditions. So some musical language: both songs rely strongly on improvisation and strong rhythmic elements. Armstrong's song features a solo trumpet and scat singing, played by Louis Armstrong. And Monroe's bluegrass focuses on a different instrumental solos and harmonies, especially in the mandolin and banjo. They still use solos to enhance. They both use solos to enhance their songs. Musical significance. Both pieces are played in a critical role in their genre's development. Armstrong's work helped propel jazz into a soloist-focused art form, while Monroe's song helped solidify the bluegrass genre and influenced later country and folk music traditions that we still have today. So my interpretation, both pieces create an upbeat, energetic atmosphere, making me want to really get into the music. I felt very joyous throughout both of these pieces, and I hope you did as well. So now, finally, some characteristics unique to Bill Monroe's Uncle Pen. So Bill Monroe was born in 1911 and died in 1995 and created the song Uncle Pen, which was composed in 1950. It represents the roots of bluegrass music. Monroe, who is also known as the father of bluegrass, kind of like how Louis Armstrong was the father of jazz, created this song in Kentucky, drawing from the region's folk and music traditions. So some context, in the 1950s, the rural America was time for cultural transition, and bluegrass music is served as a representation of Appalachian culture, rural traditions, and the emergence of country music as a distinct genre that we see today. So Uncle Pen features fast-paced string playing, including a banjo, fiddle, and a mandolin. It is a clear structure, often based on folk music forms. This piece had much less improvisation than jazz does, but plenty of room for a musician to show off their skills. So some musical significance. Monroe's Uncle Pen is a cornerstone of bluegrass music, demonstrating tight ensemble playing and instrumental solos that would define the bluegrass genre. It also serves as an important example of the bluegrass tradition, and it ties to rural folk music from the Appalachian region. The song feels pretty nostalgic to me and pretty celebratory, evoking a sense of community and tradition. It also carries a sense of reverence for family and rural life, drawing listeners into a world of personal connection and cultural pride. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a good day. Bye.